Spirituality and drumming. That's a title that's definitely going to make some people a little leery at first, but I promise you this is a discussion that you're really going to want to take part in. So we've been talking about what makes you a drummer, what type of drummer are you, what inspired you as a drummer. And aside from the people who have dedicated their life to professional drumming, whether it's being a studio musician or an educator or a touring musician, something along those lines, I'm talking about right now the regular average Joe. The person who's not getting up and working behind the drum set all day or in a studio, the person who's working a regular job, who's taking care of their children, who's trying to figure out things in life and balance their life. I'm talking about you. And when I say the spirituality and drumming, you have to understand, drumming is one of, if not the oldest instrument there is. They found an old flute, but we know drums and banging on things has been around since cavemen, right? So drumming is the oldest thing around, and it's something, I used to say on Drumeo all the time, drumming is something that comes from within. We get a feeling, an emotion, and we can express it on mylar and wood and metal. We can take it and take that emotion, take that thought, take that idea, and create a rhythmic pattern out of it that creates a melody or a sound that can be appealing to people. Now, if that's coming from within, and you're expressing it on your drum sets, there is absolutely a spiritual aspect about that. Now, even think when you started first playing drums, you saw something that touched you inside. Somebody did something, you saw a lick, a solo, you heard a song, and it touched you deep within. It reached inside you and grabbed you and said, there's something about this that makes me feel good, that I want to experience this. Well, it's not just having all the people in the crowd want to be a part of your life and get autographs, and it's not about money. It was about that original deep connection, and that is a spiritual aspect. Drumming, regardless of how you look at it or not, is a very spiritual instrument. Like I said, it's something. It's really the only instrument that we can express our entire existence with our mind, both hands, and our feet. The coordination, the attention to detail, every aspect of drumming, kind of off the beaten path. Spirituality and drumming. Now that's definitely a title that a lot of people are going to be a little leery to click on. But I want you to really think about something. I've spoken so many times about how drums are probably the oldest instrument there ever was. We were definitely banging on things and making a rhythm before we were blowing wind into a flute or doing other things. So drums has been around and been a part of our existence, the human existence, for a very long time. Now, when you first started playing drums, or when you heard that piece of music or saw that drum solo, whatever it was that sparked that initial interest in you wanting to play drums, that means you saw something that made a deep emotional connection with you. That's a spiritual event. Something touched you in a way that made you want to take part of it, to express it. And think about what I've said on Drumeo or even here on YouTube a whole bunch of times. We get an idea in our head, we get an emotion, a thought. We can, with both hands and our feet, express this on wood, mylar, and plastic and make a rhythm, create sounds, and create music. Drums has been used to communicate with people, to let people know of danger. It's been used in celebration, all of these things throughout human history. And all of this has a deep spiritual aspect of it. So, taking aside the drummers who are getting up and sitting behind a desk all day working for a drum corporation, or the studio musician and the touring musician, I'm talking about you, the person who's at home trying to balance their life with their children, trying to work their job, trying to figure out what life is, trying to understand why you have a tornado of thoughts going on in your head constantly all day long. That's what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about that person who plays drums for their enjoyment, who had a connection with drumming and lost that connection. And that's what I want to tell you. Think of what I just said. You're living a life, you're doing all of these things that you believe you have to do, and we've taken on responsibilities, so we do have to do a lot of them. But you're doing all these things, you're living in this world of constant thought, and you have very little time to do the things that mean anything to you. To just either sit and do nothing or experience something else, because you constantly got to figure out when the next bill is going to be paid, when the kids got to be at the next appointment, what you got to do tomorrow, what's for dinner. You've got all this going on in your head, and then you sit there at the end of the day and say, I don't have time to practice. I don't have time to play drums. Worst off, I don't have time to spend alone by myself in quiet meditation. I used to say spend at least 5 minutes a day in silence. We're processing noise and visual sights and sounds and everything all day long that your brain needs to process silence. But your soul, your energy, that voice that's deep within inside of you, that needs to process an existence in that silence, because I want you to think about something. And I don't want to get off track here, but before light, before there was anything for us to see, and before we had language, it was silence. So silence, darkness, the non-existence of light, sitting in a room dark without any sounds, that is a very natural state for us. It's something your body wants to do, and that's why sometimes you catch yourself daydreaming. Daydreaming is just a natural way of your body shutting down and letting you get into a meditative state without you even being aware of it. So you really want to spend this quiet time, because spending that alone time, spending that 20 minutes in quiet, yeah, you're going to have thoughts going through your head. That's all right. Let the thoughts come and go. Just sit there and keep doing it every day. When you lay down at night, those thoughts won't be there. During the day, since you've been dedicating this time to let your thoughts be processed and let that silence rise as the noise settles down over days and weeks or months, however long it takes, what you're going to realize is now as you're going on with your daily life, your mind is more clear. You don't have that tornado of thoughts anymore, because you've been learning how to purge those thoughts, funnel them, and let them go and enjoy that silence. You're going to find that you actually do have a lot more time, because you spend so much time in thought, just sitting there thinking you're watching TV while you're in thought, doing something just lost in thought, that this is time you could be sitting behind your drums and just playing. Just playing anything. It doesn't have to be a song. It doesn't have to be a paradiddle. Pick up your sticks and just move your body. Make some noise. Get familiar with your drums, I could talk about this for hours, but I only want to give about 10, 15 minutes here of this. But that whole spiritual aspect of drumming, like I've been trying to express for years now between Drumeo and here on YouTube, that drumming is more than dots on a paper. It's more than expressing, sticking in a roll. Drumming is something that comes from deep within. Yes, there are drummers who are amazing, but they've been taught to be amazing drummers. And yes, there are drummers who were just born and grabbed onto that natural instinct and let that emotion go and grew with just an incredible amount of talent, because they let themselves go. They put their focus on it. They didn't worry about what other people were doing. They don't worry about what's on TV, what their friends are doing, what she's doing, what he's doing, what did they post, who said this, who posted this, what are they doing, what are they learning? They don't care. They sat down and did their thing. And it's that's what you need to do, man. We started off a couple of weeks ago why you stopped playing drums, and it's because, it became just such a chore for you. Every other second it was learning this and doing this and learning this song and catching up to this person and being a part of this clique and group and this. And then I asked you, what kind of drummer are you? And I explained, are you that, do you want to be that professional drummer out there, or are you just doing it for yourself? And this week, I just really want you to think about that whole aspect of that mental aspect of your life, of what's going on in your life. Don't worry about the drums right now. Your life. What's going on in your life that's making you live in this constant thought? Are you the kind of person that's constantly walking around, well, what if this happens, and what if this happens, and what if this happens, and what if I can't do this, and what if I can't do this? Are you living in like the future projections of imaginary thought? Are you walking around going, oh, this happened to me 20 years ago, this happened to me 10 years ago, this happened to me 6 months ago, woe is me? And are you literally time traveling with your conscious mind and taking that emotional state from back then and bringing it into today's life? What are you doing? Are you living a life of expectations, just expecting everyone around you to understand you and know what you want, and everyone around you to do what you have to do? Are you living under the rule of somebody else's expectation? I expect you to be here. I expect you to be on time. I expect you to notice. I expect you to do this. I expect. Let all that crap go. Let all that shit go. When you're taking your last breath, when you're looking up and clutching your chest, however it's going to happen, it's you who's leaving here. When you were born, it was you who was born. All that other stuff that's going on around you doesn't matter. Because we live in a monetary-based society, because somebody screwed us over a long time ago, don't worry about it. That's shifting, that's changing. Modern technology is rising up. That old mentality, that industrialized mentality is dying down. We're going to start taking advantage of the technologies that are going to enable us and free us to have more time and experience this world. Relax with that stuff. If you're living beyond your means financially, then make the adjustments you need to make to live within your means comfortably. Don't let money be something that comes between you and your relationships, you and your passion. Don't let money be something that comes between you and just experiencing life with joy and happiness. You know, look, I've had great days in my life, and I've had some of the darkest experiences you can possibly imagine. And you know what? I truthfully and honestly appreciate every single one of them. From child abuse to stupid mistakes and all of it, I appreciate it all because it has made me the person I am today. But luckily, some way, God willing, I found a way out of that noise and was able to step aside and look at it with awareness. And I live a completely different life than I used to live. So really, I'm telling you, you're not the noise in your head. You're not the reflection you see in the mirror. You're not the name on your social security card or birth certificate. You're none of that stuff. That was all given to you. Every aspect of your life, everything you think you are, everything you associate with your identity and yourself was given to you. You were born, you were given a name, you were given a direction in education, you were given a direction in spiritual belief, you were given a direction in how society should be, and you're sitting here going, whoa. Why am I unhappy? Why am I OCD? Why do I feel like this? Why am I just always in thought? What's going on around me? Well, it's because inside you, you know that this isn't how things are supposed to be. So you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. You have to change. The world's not going to change for you until we all change and can get on some good common ground. But you have to change. It's not going to happen for you until you don't change. Look, I wrote my book, and I'm not even talking about the drumming book I put out years ago. I have a book that's on Amazon in print and in Kindle edition all over the world in Kindle, and it's an amazing book about life and the truth of our lives, and I don't want to talk about it here. I don't want to cross those paths here, but it's a book you should probably read because it's so amazing and it's so incredible, and every single person who has read it, every single person, hundreds of people who have read it have all said it's an incredible book. They didn't have one problem with it. You cannot argue any of the facts in the book. So when I sit here and tell you that you were meant for more, and that more is to be able to freely enjoy this planet and this world, drink from the rivers, eat from the trees, meet your neighbors, and walk without fear and intimidation and without wall and border, that's what this world was meant for. So all that shit that's going on inside your head, all that stuff that's going on in your heart and in your gut, it's because of all this. So start distancing yourself from all that does not serve you. If there are toxic people in your life who are breaking you down, distance yourself from them. Go within. Connect to that pure mind that was born into this world before everybody got their hands on it and twisted and turned it into 90 different directions. Okay? Now, many of you might be going, what does this have to do with drums? Well, for me, it's got everything to do with drums. Because if I don't have my life in order, if I'm not walking around whistling Dixie and feeling good, then this isn't going to be good. I'm not even going to want to sit here. I'm going to want them to collect dust and never touch them. But if my life feels good, if my heart's pumping good and my soul feels good, and if I feel connected and I'm doing good and I'm getting out there doing good stuff, when I sit behind here, it feels good. So you know what? Let's do something right now. I'm going to sit down and play. No metronome, I'm not going to tell you what to play. I'm going to play in 4. Why is 4/4 such a popular beat? Why is the most recognized and accepted music in the world, whether it's R&B, disco, or rock, in 4? Because our life moves and flows in harmony, in a rhythm. So, that's why jazz and funk and things that are in odd times, they're selected. I love them, don't get me wrong. But a lot of times you'll hear the word, it's a musician's music, right? Related to jazz and things like that. They're for musicians. Well, it's not necessarily like that, but it's because a musician can appreciate the talent and not have to live in that rhythm. But all of us who are walking through life, we want life to flow through us just like we flow through life. So that's why 4/4. That's why 4 is so good with us. It's a natural occurring rhythm, a repetitive motion over and over. So I'm going to play in 4. I may do a fill here and there, and I may change it up, and I may double tempo. Whatever I'm gonna completely play spontaneous. But what I want you to do is I want you to play with me. If you want to do fills, do fills. I'm gonna hold down just a groove. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to shut your mouth. I want you to shut your brain off. I just want you to hear the rhythm and the beat that I'm playing, and I want you to play to it. Just humor me for a minute. Let's just have some fun for a minute, and we'll do this, and I'll definitely see you next week, okay, everybody? And if you're having trouble, if there are things going on in life and you're looking for ways and you want to know how you can incorporate meditation and things into your life and stuff, don't be afraid just because we're talking about drums here. That's the problem with drum education, is they limit it to drum education and they take the whole aspect of the human being, human existence, human life out of it. And they make it too mechanical, too monetary based, and here we go. All right? Nothing complex. Absolutely simple, but it feels good, man, because you're letting out that anxiety, or you're letting out that love, you're letting out that frustration, or you're connecting with that harmony. It's an extension of you. So don't push it away. Get it back out in front of you and just play it the way you want to play it right now, and worry about all that other stuff another time. Okay, everybody? Have a beautiful day. Namaste. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.